Hello! Welcome back to the Joe Morburton Currents. Today's episode is sponsored by my other daughter who kindly drew on my t-shirt my logo. So, anyway, it's been a little while since my last episode, and to be honest, I needed that break. Didn't plan it, it just kind of happened. Life got really heavy on me, and my head got really noisy, and I just needed to take that step back. And I sort of dedicated my struggle to today's episode. And it's really about something I've had to relearn the hard way in the last couple of months, which is self-care. But not this sort of fluffy Instagram version, not bubble baths and scented candles. Those are great and they have their place. But I'm just talking about the self-care of your mind, the kind of care that no one else can do for you, and the kind that keeps you from sinking into those places you can't easily climb out of. Do you ever have that moment where you realise you've just been running on autopilot for weeks and you're like, wait, when did I actually last check in myself? And yeah, that was me, and if you've ever been there, you know how hard that struggle can be. We all know the basics of physical self-care: drink water, get some exercise, eat food that's not just beige and fried. It's drilled into us from an early age these days. But the mind never gets mentioned. For most of us, it's just a sort of just get on with it mentality, keep working, keep pushing, keep being there for everyone else until you're eventually running on fumes. And then we wonder why we're feeling anxious, irritable, and disconnected from the world and the people around us. Neglecting your own mental well-being is like driving a car without ever servicing it. You can go a while before anything feels wrong, but when it breaks down, it's not quite an easy quick fix by then. And I've learned that your mind is the control centre for everything else you do. So if it's tired, stressed, overloaded, it just eventually affects your body, and that bleeds into your life then, where it starts affecting relationships, your motivation, and everything around you basically. And yet we sort of treat looking after our minds like a luxury, when in reality it should just be basic maintenance, something we should just do in general. So let's put it into a real life scenario and think about it this way. If your phone battery was dying, what's the first thing you do? You're just going to charge it. But for some reason, when our mental batteries are running low, we just keep pushing through. Why is that? I don't know. Open-ended question for you guys to answer. So over the last few months, I've had to sort of face the fact that I'd let my own mental health care slide. I was showing up for work, my responsibilities for other people, but never myself. I convinced myself I didn't need to slow down. I told myself I could just push through. But I noticed little things were creeping in. I was snapping at people, sometimes the kids, for nothing. I was finding it hard to focus, feeling tired even when I'd slept. I had a good night's sleep for a change. I wasn't doing the things I normally enjoyed, like gaming or walking, or I wasn't doing things to keep myself grounded. I just wasn't checking in with myself. So eventually I had to admit that this wasn't sustainable, so I just pulled back. I took time away from creating content, had some honest and deep conversations with people close to me, and I started rebuilding small habits, journaling, short walks, and I just limited my social media, like posting or engaging with it. I don't know, this wasn't me just disappearing into the mountains, growing a massive bushy beard to find myself. It was just a little boring and glamorous little changes, but they worked to help me reset my mind. It wasn't this dramatic, life-changing overhaul. It was just about making space for my mind, for me to breathe again. And that difference is made is absolutely huge. If you've ever had that moment when you finally breathe out and feel the weight lifting off your shoulder, or it feels like you've been holding your breath for months, you know what I'm talking about right now. And it's a really hard position to be in, but it's important. That's why the self-care is so important. So here's the thing. Everyone always goes on about physical well-being, but there's not enough people talking about your own mental well-being. And I want to change that by just having an honest conversation about how I've been, and hopefully push other people to be honest about their mental well-being. And let's be clear, I don't think self-care for the mind should just be when things get bad. It should just be a practice you maintain. Like, if you go to the gym, you don't just go there, get where you want and stop. You keep going and going and going and maintaining that shape we want. So let's get to a point where we're not getting ourselves to breaking point in the first place. And this might mean setting boundaries at work, saying no to people when you need to, spending time alone. Or, this is going to sound really weird, but just let yourself be bored for once. And like, when I mean bored, I don't mean like doom scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, not having something in the background while you're doing that, just sitting there in silence with your own thoughts. I think that's like a weird lost art that we've lost, because the world we live in right now runs on speed and distractions, and if we don't intentionally create those moments of stillness and calm, I think our mental health is going to be the price we pay. So, if you've been running empty lately, I hope this is your reminder to slow down, check yourself, ask yourself, when was the last time I actually took care of my mind? Self-care isn't selfish, it's just maintenance that allows you to show up for life fully. Your mind is the filter which you experience everything else. Look after it. If nothing else, before you go to bed tonight, do one small thing just for your mental health. It could be as simple as putting your phone down 10 minutes earlier than usual and just having a think. Thanks for sticking around and listening after my listening after my little hiatus. I'm glad to be back. I've got more episodes that dive into mental well-being and how we can live more consciously about our mental health. So until next time, be kind to yourself, and I mean it. See you on the next one.